Well, sometimes you're just placed in a position in life where you have to make a choice. Do you just go along with a system that's unfair, or do you say, I'm tired of this, I'm going to challenge it?
For more than a century, the owners had maintained what they called the reserve system. Essentially, that meant that a player could never seek to negotiate with another team, and that meant there was no competition among teams for players. Unsurprisingly, that held salaries down. When free agency came in 1976, there was competition among teams for players. Salaries began to escalate towards what the player's market value really was. At the end of the '85 season, what the owners did without negotiation with the union and unlawfully was to institute what was called collusion. Essentially, the owners had an understanding with one another that the only team that would offer a contract to a free agent player was his existing team. He could either play for what they offered or he could retire.
I could see that Andre Dawson was going to be an extraordinary player. He had speed, he had a great arm, he covered the field extraordinarily well.
Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. He was one of the best players in the game.
And here is a guy who had knee problems, so he would play with pain just about every day. And to put up the numbers and the leadership that he did for the teams he played for was extraordinary.
I felt if I continued to play on the AstroTurf, I was probably looking at the most another 4 or 5 years tops. The best decision was to get on a natural playing surface. So my approach was it's time for me to move on. And because of collusion, which was center stage at the time, I really didn't know what direction I needed to go to get out of Montreal. The Cubs was my team of preference because they were still in the National League, and that was where I knew I would enjoy the game. Myself, my agent, we did some creative thinking, and we devised a plan.
What Andre Dawson did was to offer to sign a blank contract with the Cubs. He would play for whatever they offered him. You had a graphic demonstration that one of the very best players of the game was of no interest to any team except his existing team.
Knowing his value, he still took it upon himself to proactively slide across a blank contract.
And he put it on the line. He put a contract on the line and said, sign it, whatever.
I didn't know what the outcome was going to be as a result. I guess I made the decision. It's not about monetary issues. It's about pride and principle moving forward. And sure enough, we showed up. We had the blank proposal. Dallas Green didn't know what to make of it. He had never seen anything like it. He reached out to me the following day and he said, the best offer that we could make is $500,000. And that was $500,000 less than what Montreal was offering.
The Cubs were basically publicly shamed into offering him a contract at a small fraction of what his real value was.
I really wanted more than anything to put that Cub uniform on, and I just looked back at Montreal as I had to move on.
That kind of changed the circumstances, the way people looked at the entire thing that was going on with collusion.
After he did that, there could be no discussion among any thinking person that the owners were acting properly.
He went out and had an MVP season in '87, which was a further testament to his ability.
He was the second lowest paid guy on the Chicago Cubs, and you come out with a monster MVP year, 49 home runs, I believe 137 RBIs. But it was a bold move by handing them that contract. He could have had a bad season, but he didn't. So he played under immense pressure. It was by hard work, dedication, going against the odds, playing in pain.
And by getting on the natural playing surface and playing in Chicago, I was able to extend my career another 10 years, and I wound up playing, wearing a uniform anyway, 20 plus years.
I would really like for all of the young players to understand this, that the game that they are playing today is not the game that was played in the past. You were owned. The owners could own you. They could tell you to go here, go there, wherever they wanted you to do.
It wasn't until Curt Flood challenged that system and sacrificed his career that things began to move in a different direction. Andre became, as Curt had before him, a symbol of what the union is all about and what it means to act in behalf of other players.
It took a lot of courage and determination, and also men who wanted their own dignity and wanted to share that dignity with their fellow players.
People need to know where they came from to even imagine where they're going.
As a player, if you don't know why you have what you have, over time, you will slowly give it away. And you won't know it as you do it.
Andre, congratulations on winning this first Curt Flood Award. All the players in Major League Baseball voted for you, so you know they believe in what you did as well.
Congratulations. You've earned it. You deserve it.
Your willingness to stand up, to do what was right, to lead by example is something that I will never forget, and no one who was around at that time will ever forget.
Congratulations, Andre. Congratulations. Curt would be so proud of you, as I know you were proud of Curt.
I look at this honor, and it's pristine in a sense, and it's an accolade that I put up there with anything that I've ever achieved in this game because of what it represents and the player that it's named after. Thank you very much to each and all of the players for nominating me, Andre Dawson, for the very first Curt Flood Award.